Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Formula One podcast, straight to the apex. The guys are here, they're talking races gone, races to come, all the race news, all the race previews, all race, all the time. These guys bring it all to you, to your door. What more could you want from a Formula One podcast? Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Let these guys know how much you love the podcast. Let other people know how much you love it. Get the word of mouth. It's the best possible thing for podcasting in general. Right, enough from me. Let's hear from these guys. Here we go. This is CookieCast, straight to the apex.
So, Tony's not here yet, but I wanted us to start this just so that everyone who listens to this can see just how frustrating it is for me and Mark every fucking week. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. We can actually do our normal small talk, but let the listeners listen as well when we start talking about rovers or DIY or
just generally because we have 10 minutes to
kill. Tony for the whole kind of where the fuck is he?
Again, I mean, he said the time. He said when he wanted to do it. Obviously, I couldn't do last night. You suited better tonight, but 8:30, he said, no problem, Tony. And what time are we on now, listeners? 8:35.
Yep.
I mean, I've had to set up in a different room because I'm trying to watch Hull City on the telly against Leeds. But yeah, he's an idiot.
How they do it?
It's currently 0-0, but it's nearly half time. But yeah, he's an idiot because
every week.
Every week. I mean, God forbid next week I'm not here, so Tony's recording. So all I can do is feel sorry for you.
I mean, technically, if he's the one who's going to be starting the meeting, downloading it, sending it to Andy and everything, technically, he would be on time.
James, I don't think... You see, in that message, I knew he didn't record it last time. I knew his brother, Adam... Hi, Adam, if you listen.
Oh, yeah. Adam, help us out, mate.
He stepped up and said, I record it all the time for work. I'll record it. Not a problem. And then Tony was like, oh, yeah, I think I did it last time. Right, I'm calling bullshit because he hasn't got a fucking clue how to do it. So, all I can do is apologise, James, that I've left you with him. How are you? Are you all right?
I am knackered.
You're knackered?
I am absolutely cream crackered.
What, work or just general?
Oh, a bit of both. I think, obviously, the stuff I did over the weekend kind of done me in. And then, obviously, at work, we're just finishing off a massive project at work. And it's that kind of, it's all hands on now just to get the last bit over.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, here he is.
So, ladies and gentlemen, 8:37.
And that was episode 19 of Straight to the Apex. I was your host, James. Mark, it was a pleasure as always to have you here. Tony, it was nice for you to finally join. We will see you in 2 weeks after Japan. See you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
There is no podcast without me.
Well, you're late and you're eating, so can you tell everyone or apologise to everyone and tell us what your excuses are?
I have an excuse. Good things come to those who wait.
Wow. James, you're the host. It's over to you. I can't deal with this shit. It's a good job it wasn't on my watch.
Jesus. Andy, please clip that and we will get the sassiest thumbnail ever.
The sassiest.
It's over to you, James. You're leading the podcast.
Mate, I'm on holiday. I don't give a shit.
Oh, you on holiday now?
I broke up today. Yep. And I
broke up today.
I'm not back at
work. Because he
work.
goes to school, guys.
I'm not back at work till the 9th of October. Just saying.
Oh. I think that is the day I come back from London after doing the NFL weekend.
Nice. Which game are you off to see?
Jags, I think, isn't it?
I can't remember. Yeah,
I can't really remember what game I'm off to see.
Can we stop, please? This is not an NFL podcast. This is an F1 podcast.
Wait, this is not laces out. This is straight to the apex. And Tony, you are absolutely right. I mean, I would say that we've wasted a good 5 minutes of the podcast, just me and Mark having a bit of small talk, but it was nice.
It was nice, but obviously 2 of us are going to an NFL game in a few weeks, so we can maybe be on the Laces Out podcast with experiences. He won't be because he can't even turn up for his own fucking podcast on time.
Oh, so you're going on another podcast?
Well, I ain't saying we are. I'm just saying, we could.
Oh, it's all right. You can invite yourself onto that podcast, Mark. It's fine.
Mate, is your game in Tottenham as well?
No, I'm off to one in San Francisco.
Oh, shit, yeah, I forgot that's where you are.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, if you was going to one of the ones in Tottenham, there is... I don't know if you've done it, but there's like a really small con club. Sorry, I know this isn't Laces Out. Apologies.
No, it's fucking no. He's going to a game in San Francisco. Where are you going again? Oh, San Francisco. Yeah.
Vegas, LA, San Francisco. Yeah.
I think he's doing them as well. But yeah, if you ever do Tottenham, there's a small kind of thing there, just not far from the stadium. And literally, you walk in and it is patio furniture indoors. And I'm talking the white plastic patio furniture you used to get from a garden centre.
Yeah.
And there was 7 of us and we was all drinking gin or rum or something like that. And he just went, oh, yeah, 11 quid.
Nice.
So, yeah, we hit that one quite regularly. But anyway, we digress. This is episode 19 of Straight to the Apex. I am in the driver's seat this week. James Stainforth in the pit crew. I have Mark Wilkin. And as always, if he was a strategist for any team, it would probably be Ferrari because that's how reliable he is. Tony, the Sexmeister T-Dog Rawson.
Hi, how are you doing? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the greatest podcast in F1 history. And what a race. F1 purists, arise. Finally, we see a true F1 race.
Did you watch it? I
did. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen.
It was good.
All race, I was up.
Wow. Just before we get into it, James, what are you eating?
Oh, me?
You.
I have.
What are you sponsored by this week? This week we are sponsored by
Uber Eats.
I have a sandwich, malted bread, chicken and stuffing, and I've got some chips, halloumi fries, and peas.
It started off by sounding like a Tesco meal deal with the malted bread, chicken and stuff. And like, oh, okay, so he's gone for a chicken triple kind of thing. Yeah. But then there was chips and halloumi fries and
peas.
Wow. And peas.
With a sandwich.
Yeah.
All about the gains, people. All about the gains. I'm not really bothered about the food. It's just about the calorific intake. That's all I'm bothered about.
Hang on. Is this a fucking fitness podcast?
I was just about to say the same thing.
You asked what I was eating.
This is not a fitness podcast.
We're going on about fucking gains.
Without eating things like this.
Mate, we've seen your legs.
Someone's
Don't fucking go there.
Really big on the top half, but then from the bottom, it just looks like fucking grew out as despicable.
Wow. That was a
you
great
son,
comparison.
you son of a bitch! You just made an enemy right now.
I'm
Your
only
beard
kidding.
is shit. Your
You
beard
know
looks
as your father, you know I love you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sometimes you just got to you got to be honest. And I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
Yeah. But going back to what Tony just said, what a fucking race! If you don't like Max Verstappen, you fucking love this one. I did.
Yep.
Absolute fucking giggle. So obviously we all watched it live. Apparently, I think Tony watched it just after. Beth was messaging us, and so you stayed awake for the race.
I loved it.
I mean, I wonder why. Giving no spoilers away, I bet he.
Well, I didn't see that happening at all. At all.
Didn't? Right.
Which bit?
On the last lap, I did see that happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was like Silverstone and Joe when it started. The camera follows the leader, and then in the background you just see a car flying into the wall.
Spoilers, Tony. You're giving the goodies away. Just calm down.
Jesus Christ! People have tuned in. Surely they've tuned in because they've seen it. Surely it was amazing.
You'd like to think if they've come on to this episode of the podcast that they've already.
All they want to see is our reaction.
That's true. That is true.
It's just like watching us laugh for an hour. I mean,
I felt sorry. I felt sorry for him.
You did? I thought you'd have been pissing yourself.
Well, it was like a bit of both, really. Couldn't believe it. Shock, laughter. But then, it was just like, whoa, bloody hell.
He was pushing it, and obviously Lewis was pushing him, and he was pushing it. And you just knew when I think Martin said, that Mac's moving about a bit much. You just knew it was happening. You just knew it with George.
I mean, like we said, look, we're talking about it, so we might as well go to that specific point. I mean, if anyone's listening, I'm not going to say spoilers because you should have watched the race by now.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to say to you apart from get your priorities straight. I mean, come on. This is getting raised on Thursday, Friday. The race was on Sunday. What the fuck have you been doing? Come on. But we're obviously on about Russell hitting the wall. I saw a really cool clip on TikTok, and it was of Ayrton Senna being interviewed, going, the moment you stop hitting a gap, the moment you stop being an F1 driver. And then you go to the onboard of George Russell, and you see him approaching the silences in Singapore, and the bit he hits was gap. It's like George Russell takes Ayrton Senna advice to the next level.
I think the funniest thing I saw was on Google Maps, someone's pinned the crash and put George's corner or something like that. I was like, wow. I mean, I thought it'd be Tony. I did think it was Tony.
It was a weird one. Yeah, it was pushing. I said at the time, he was pushing too hard. He was trying too much, and he lost it. It's as simple as that. But even Lando said afterwards when they interviewed him, was like, "Oh, what do you?" He said, "Oh, he tried doing what I did," and he did. I mean, Lando clipped that wall, and then Russell did the same thing. He just. I don't know if it's a case of Lando was more lucky with the recovery and Russell wasn't, or what, but
I think he was trying to still beat him to the very last. And I think the line that Lando took was, well, you could say it's close, but he hit the wall, and I think George was following him so intensely that he couldn't change his line, and he just clipped that wall too hard, and he just completely messed it up. Really, I mean, you think about it, and I think unlucky. He'll learn from this, and I think he'll learn from this season. The comments, the way he is, moments of driving, mistakes like that, and it'll make him a better driver in the long run. I think.
Do you think?
I mean, I think so. You can't. I mean, you're in a Mercedes, Singapore podium, chasing them down. You could see he was excited from the get-go because he was saying, "I can win this. We can win this." He's got 7-time, 8-time world champion behind him. He knows he can try and win the race. The heat's on him, and he'll learn. He'll learn from this.
You say excited. Got a bit of breaking news just about excitement.
If this is you in the bedroom, I don't want to hear it. This is not the time or place. What's going on? All I can hear is silence. What's going on?
Can't you hear anything?
Mark's now playing something on his phone, which for the viewers that are listening.
Oh, I thought you could hear that. It was your lovely wife just sent us a video.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My house, just to explain to the viewers, my house is like the Big Brother house, basically. Because of me and my mental state, she has to basically have 24-hour coverage on me. So, and this is what people understand that know me. And it's for my own safety, to be honest. Because obviously, T-Dog sometimes can lose it. And you don't want to know what he does. He just goes crazy.
Did you lose
it? She videoed me.
Did you lose it?
I lost it with George Russell.
Maybe you can try, James. Maybe it'll play from your end.
Where go? I ain't even seen this yet.
I haven't seen it. It's breaking news.
I mean, I hope it's a meme and it's that woman orgasming.
Oh no, please don't tell me it was rear-ended there.
Yeah, my thought.
And Lewis Hamilton in third place. Oh no. Getting him one last go and just run out of track at the wrong moments and hitting
I mean,
sorry, it took me a second to kick in. You know, like when you're fucking starting a lawnmower and it's like clacking away, and then suddenly it gets going. Like,
I'll watch the rest of it later on. I can't put it up there with the whole Alonso one.
There you got Anthony. You got Anthony for the first few seconds of that, and then T-Dog just kicked in full force.
It's all about T-Dog.
You talk about yourself as a third person and then a fourth person?
Kind of explains what I previously said about 24-hour coverage.
Of course he did. Speaking of Alonso, though, what the hell happened to him?
He wasn't happy. It's the first time I've heard him moan about the car. Normally, every week, he's going, "Oh, really love the car, Mr. Stroll. Really, really good. Oh, yeah, really, really happy here. You're my best friend, Mr. Stroll." This week, he's just like, "The car's shit."
Yep.
Like,
I hate to say this, but
did you go too soon? Did you go too soon on Aston Martin?
You're so rude. Can you just shut up and let me speak?
Wow.
You, Mark, said earlier on in the season that this was going to be a short-lived thing. And you was right. You also said that the copy is never as good as the original. And again, you was right. With that being said, we have now come full circle at Aston Martin. And it's sad. It's very sad.
I don't know what's going on between you two, but I'm sensing a lot of sexual tension here.
I've ended it. I'm not having people talk to me like that. This relationship's over. Done. However, I'm glad he said I was right.
Yeah, I don't like it. There's a lot of weird stuff going on and a lot of breaking news and everything. So anyway, onto the subject of news. You guys got any? I've got one, which I think we've all got.
Go on.
That is Piastri.
Yep.
Signed into a new deal. 2026 he's signed until now.
Yeah. 2026 new deal for Piastri. Yeah.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Toto Wolff's missing this week due to knee surgery.
Really?
Yeah, he's having he had a bike crash a few years ago, and it's
those NHS waiting lists are a bitch, aren't they?
Aren't they? Apparently, he hasn't got a cruciate ligament.
Work the NHS.
How dare? Yeah, well, that says it all. Yeah, he hasn't got a cruciate ligament.
Fries.
But one massive breaking thing this week, what I wanted really your opinion on, is the Felipe Massa legal challenge on the 2008 thing again. So he's not having to go at Lewis, but he wants Lewis's support to seek justice. All centres around Nelson Piquet Jr.'s crash, which he did intentionally for Alonso to win at Singapore, coincidentally. Crash brought out the safety car. Massa pitted, but was then released with the fuel hose still attached, allowing Hamilton to score more points. So Massa's legal team are basically saying, because Ferrari made a cock-up during the pit stop, but it was a pit stop made when a crash happened intentionally, they want the title.
So hang on. His right, okay, so he's now saying, even though the reason he didn't win that race was because he left a pit stop with the fuel hose still attached, but that was somebody else's fault because they caused a safety car, so he went in. If there wasn't a safety car, I would have pitted.
Yep.
Mate, get a fucking job. Stagecoach are hiring. No one gives a fuck. The only reason you're going to get support from Hamilton is because Hamilton will be sitting there going, if you've got a leg to stand on, then so do I.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
But I know they asked Toto, and he said we are watching the case intently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're really keeping an eye on the case because they're interested to see. And they said, well, what are you going to do if they turn around and say, yeah, we're going to go with it? And he said, well, put it this way: when the FIA have already made their comments about the whole racing incident with Hamilton and Verstappen and everything else like that, and they've justified it. So it'll be interesting to see what they say afterwards.
It
would be, because I mean, to me, yes, if you go on Massa's side, then you're going to be stripping a title from Lewis. But if you're going to strip a title from Lewis, then it's as simple as that. If you can do it for one, you can do it for another.
I mean, everyone knows our feelings who listen to this podcast about Lewis's title that he lost to Max. Like you say, this was nothing to do with the FIA. The Massa thing was Ferrari fucked up. They left the hose in, and they released him with the fuel hose in. And granted, it happened when Nelson Piquet crashed on purpose. But you didn't. It did. I think it's come out that he did. It's all, in the open air about it. But if you'd have pitted and done a correct pit stop, that wouldn't have affected anything. In fact, it'd have probably got you out in front.
Exactly.
So the fact that they're blaming their own shortcomings about a mistake on the pit stop, you cost Massa that title then, not Piquet crashing.
Thinking about it, they've taken root cause analysis and they've took it to another level. I mean, if this one doesn't come through, then what are then you're going to go with? Oh well, we won't look at Nelson Piquet's deliberate crash, but we're now going to hold Nelson Piquet's parents responsible for having sex 9 months before he was born, and making a little Nelson Piquet, who then grew up to be an F1 driver, to deliberately crash at a certain time, which then resulted in me having a pit stop and having a fuel hose attached, and me then losing my title and blah, 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 blah.
It's ridiculous.
What?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Fucking bollocks.
Yep. 100%.
But
I have nothing more to add.
All I'm going to say is it'll be interesting to see what the outcome will be, and then just see what Mercedes do. Because if I was Mercedes and I saw that, I would be all over it.
Yeah. I mean, granted, this was in 2008. We're now in 2023. So all Mark have to do is wait all them years and go, oh, well, we'll lodge an appeal.
Yeah. Wait until Verstappen's got about 6 titles under his belt, and then you go, excuse me.
Yeah, can we have that one back, please?
I'll have that one, thank you. Now you're 5.
Oh, dear.
What about you, Tony? You got any news? Anything you've seen, heard, or anything else like that recently?
Not really.
Don't speak with your mouth full of food, mate. It's very rude.
Your dad
Sorry,
just
mate.
told you off.
Be sending you to the naughty step if you carry on.
Yeah.
Just one all.
I didn't get much news. I haven't seen much breaking news or anything else other than the Piastri thing and obviously what you just brought up there. I didn't see much else in this week. I
haven't really. The only worrying thing I've seen from today is the weather at Japan. It's torrential rain again.
Oh.
We've had this quite a few years, I think, at Japan now, haven't we? It was cancelled the other year when we was there. I think last year was it cancelled before they got there?
I was going to say, which year was it when there was a tractor on the track?
That was a couple of years ago, I think, because they literally did like one lap without the safety car, or I don't even think they got out, did they? And the tractor was going round. But I thought the change.
Ashley was really shit saying this is exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's worrying if it's going to be like that all weekend.
Let's keep an eye on. I didn't even check the weather or anything.
It was only because it come up on Twitter, or X as it's called now. One of the pit garages put a picture on of their pit garage and literally a river running down the pit lane.
No, that was just Max tears because he'd spat his dummy out. Nothing else.
He finally lost a race.
A river of tears. It's the car, it's shit. It just doesn't work for me. No, it's not fair. It's either him or Perez. Perez. We know he pushed me off, he didn't give me enough room. Who? The other 19. They're all meanies.
Oh, God, I was going to say, him on the radio is desperate now.
Oh, mate, he was an absolute dick this weekend. Either on the radio or the way he was driving, everything about him was just, you're a dick.
Yeah,
I mean,
aggressive.
It was ridiculous. Like, say, again, someone moaning about someone else's, it's someone else's fault, not mine. It's yours. Definitely yours.
Yep.
And there was a return. Godzilla returned.
Godzilla returned.
One of the practice, I can't remember which practice session it was.
Oh,
so I remember years ago, Stappen was around and he went, there's a lizard on the track, and the radio engineers was going, oh yeah, Godzilla. And then he just said, Matt's going, Godzilla. He's like, wow, is that just how you genuinely laugh, or is it just a case of you just don't get what that means? Anyway, it happened again this year. He's driving. Oh, there's another lizard on the track, and then they went, yeah, maybe Godzilla's had a baby, Max. He's like, like, for fuck's sake, mate, Jesus, you got enough million. Go out and buy a fucking sense of humour.
Didn't anybody see it though? Like walking on, like surely somebody should have stopped it.
Surely. Somebody, stop me.
Sorry, I went a bit Sean Connery.
You did. Yeah, the fact that the barriers are as they are, how the hell do they get on?
I think maybe they fly in.
What, like those lizards in The Simpsons?
Yes, them ones.
Exactly like them.
There's a childhood memory. Yeah.
I'm surprised. How did they get off? Did somebody pick it up? Did anybody see somebody pick it up?
No, it just ran across the track. It didn't. No one picked it up.
You just got across something like that. I don't know.
Lizard crossing.
Let's go with it. It went across and it was safe and it lived happily ever after. Let's just go with that.
Yep.
Thank God. I feel better now. I'll sleep tonight.
So let's quickly touch quali. Then we'll take a break. Then we'll get into the race because I've got a few talking points for the race anyway. I think so. Q1, nothing really happened in Q1 right up until the end. I mean, obviously, it was just your basic Q1. Nothing really going on. A lot of drivers looked a little bit faster, apart from Red Bull, which was nice and pleasant. Red Bull was making a bit of time up, and then all of a sudden, Stroll just went, "Nah, fuck it, I'm going to drive into a wall." And I really shouldn't joke. It was
sorry, guys, I was pushing a little bit there.
It was.
I'm okay.
It was a big crash, and the way the car bounced off, it looked really bad, and his head kind of like wobbled.
Oh, jeez, he was bouncing around like a rag doll.
Bless him.
But didn't say it was for like 120, 130 mile an hour impact he made or something.
Yeah, something. I don't know how many G's it was, but it must have been pretty big. But yeah,
it wasn't the same amount of G's as Max. You know, when he hit that wall in Silverstone, and Horner was like, "Oh, you know, should be part of it."
Yeah, Horner again.
Max remember.
He needs to go, doesn't he? Don't you think?
Yeah.
Stroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I just feel like he's had enough time now. He's had a lot of racing experience, and he's not really doing anything. Like, he's not done anything really. I mean, I think he alluded to it when he was speaking about going back to tennis this year. And after he's had an injury, and he got injured before the race. He swapped before the season. Sorry, he swapped out the car, didn't he? Earlier on, I think it was last race or the race before, to let the reserve driver in. This has happened now. I think he's crashed already this year, hasn't he? Like, I'd like to see another driver in that car. I really want to see another driver in that car because I think he's done. What do you guys think?
Until Lawrence has less to do with it, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
The whole reason he owns a team is because of his son. If he is actually serious about wanting to win, you've unfortunately got to cut your son. You've got to bin him because. But
it's an awkward.
It is awkward, but that will tell you if he's in it to win or in it just to give Lance a drive. Because let's be honest, if he didn't own that team, would Lance get in any other team on merit, knowing what we know about him?
No, absolutely not.
At the same time, I know we're making these comments now about him and stuff like that, but one of the things I didn't like this weekend was after the crash on social media, some of the comments that was being made saying, "Oh, just an average driver. You get any other driver in that car, and you know you wouldn't see them doing that kind of stuff." And I'm reading it, I'm like, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, fucker's driving good enough to be able to have a super license.
Well, yeah. To be fair,
and he's pushing hard. He's pushing
and then
hard.
At the start, on race day, you saw Alonso. Making some massive mistakes. That guy is seasoned to the hill.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's just was it 2,000 laps he's just completed this week or something stupid like that?
Yeah.
100,000.
Oh yeah, 100,000. Wow, I was
mad. Yeah.
But he's clocked in a ridiculous amount of races and everything else like that, and he still makes mistakes. And he's a 2-time champion.
They're overdriving the car. They're overdriving a bad car. That's, you know what I mean? Like you say, Alonso made mistakes because he's overdriving it. Lance was pushing. he's overdriven it and it's bit him. And I mean, look at George, look at Max. He said it was like driving on ice. You know, if you overdrive a car, you are going to have an accident, especially on a street circuit.
Yeah. But yeah, so that pretty much it did stop Q1 straight off. It was a red flag, so that was the end of the session. Q2, it looked like there was a bit of impeding from Max. Again, not really much happened in Q2, but then Perez spun around towards the end, causing a yellow flag. So that was him out of the picture. Max gets 10th with his time. You're sitting there going, all right, it's fine. Well, he probably wasn't, in fairness. He was probably spitting his dummy out still. But then some little fucking roustabout kid who came from nowhere called Lawson knocks him out by beating him by what? 0.007 for a second.
And not only that, he drove for the junior team of Red Bull.
Yep. And he's only just been brought in just to replace the other replacement at the fucking junior team. But and then you heard Max on the radio going, "Yeah, I don't know if you saw any of that, but that was shocking." And it's just, you're really helping your engineering team right now. They're really going to want to help you out now. After making comments like that to him, it's like, come the fuck on, mate.
Well, what was he doing in Q2 where he stopped at the end of the pit lane?
And then Horner's like, "Max, are we all right?" And
yeah, and there was like, "Oh yeah, we can see a problem," as if lying. "Oh, we can see a problem. Oh yeah, it's cleared now." Because George and Charles Leclerc were like, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" But yeah, odd for Red Bull, wasn't it? None of us saw it coming.
I mean, I know, but that frustrates me. It really frustrates me that we didn't see it coming. But the car's been so powerful this year. Why this track? Why couldn't they turn it on? I still don't understand that.
I said last week I was always as a shocker at Singapore. And I wasn't really, but yeah.
Well, to be fair, you was the nearest.
Yeah. There was only one person who got points in the predictions this week, and we'll get to that later on. But the rest of us just didn't do it.
Nope.
But Q3 right up until the end again, not really much of standard qualifying, but just after the timer went and it was up there, it's like, who the hell's going to get it? Sainz got it quite comfortably as well. Then Leclerc had P2. Then Norris came in, and then Russell just came around and went, "Nah, mate, I'm going to fucking have this now," and smashed it out the park.
Yeah.
So after qualifying, the standings were Sainz in pole, Russell second, Leclerc third, Norris fourth, Hamilton fifth, Magnussen sixth, Alonso seventh, Ocon eighth, Hulkenberg ninth, Lawson, the little roustabout, in 10th. Some guy called is it Verstappen?
He'll never do anything.
Yeah, he came 11th. Don't think he'll amount to much. And then about 8 other drivers who, fuck it, they're too far back. Let's just forget their names anyway for now. And that was quali.
Yeah.
So what do you think, guys? Quick drink break?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Good. Right. See you in a second.
See you, bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yeah, you that's listening right now. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Straight to the Apex, the Formula One podcast from CookieCast. If you're enjoying this episode, why not like, share and subscribe? Whilst you're there, feel free to check out some of the other podcasts that CookieCast has to offer. If you like football, we've got a football podcast. NFL more your thing? Then the Laces Out podcast is for you. Maybe even a little bit of the wrestling. Just look for the Getting Over podcast on CookieCast. Maybe you want to listen to Andy's Darkest Timeline. It's there too. So, the F1 boys have probably got themselves a drink. It's time to get back to the action.
We are back. That is all. I couldn't think of anything else to say to open up part 2 of series episode 19. Series episode 19?
Series episode 19.
This is worse than when I try to pronounce the word controversy.
Breathe. Think about it.
Controversy. I did it! Oh, that was almost as awkward as the time when Tony kept trying to pronounce the name Zhou Guan Yu for about a whole season of Straight to the Apex. In fact, not just Tony, actually, there was you as well, Mark. So, I will stand up for the big dog a little bit there, buddy. Got you back.
Yeah, we did struggle. We did struggle.
I mean, before we go on, there's a couple of things I'd like to say, if that's okay with you, James.
Yeah.
First things first, me and Mark are not in a relationship, for everybody out there that's listening.
100%. Yeah.
We have wives, loving wives. And Mark has just recently celebrated his anniversary, so congratulations, Mark.
Yeah, but I will now throw a counter argument there. Mark,
and you just
if I wanted to go to Grimsby because Ryan Reynolds was there. Sorry, I interrupted.
I've also got an apology to you, James. Wrexham were playing at home and I got it wrong.
Oh, mate, I was almost in the car.
I know. I do apologise. Anyway,
that's my second point. I was very short there with Mark in the first segment, and I apologise. I hope there's no hard feelings between us. Yeah. I hope you can forgive me.
No, go fuck yourself.
I would also just like to say to Mexico, Australia,
I'll do what you ask.
any other country that Tony may have upset, don't worry, he will apologise to you at some point also.
He will. I mean, yeah. I mean, do you apologise to Beth? I thank you for your apology, Tony. That was very big man of you. I appreciate that. It was from the heart. Do you apologise to Beth when you talk to her like that? Because I know you do. She tells us you do. Talk to her like that. Not apologise.
I apologise to my wife regularly because sometimes I'm a bit of a, as we all know, prick. So we all have our faults.
You're not really, Tony. We give you the shit. You're all right.
You do take a lot of shit, and it's not just from like me and Mark as well. I mean, you get it from pretty much everyone. But I do actually think that while Tony sleeps, Beth just full on goes like Dwayne the Rock Johnson mode and does the people's elbow on him in his sleep.
I don't think Tony sleeps.
Runs across the bedroom and then just.
I don't think Tony sleeps because I don't think he's that brave.
In fairness, you're probably right because he gets enough sleep during qualifying and race days.
I was wondering why my back hurt when I woke up. My back hurts now, actually. My back hurts. I've hurt my back, really hurt my back. It's from carrying this podcast for fucking 2 seasons now.
Wow. I mean, there was one episode last season where you pretty much destroyed the podcast almost. But
yeah. I mean, you are the ultimate professional, turning up 10 minutes late, eating again on the podcast. You do really carry it. You do really carry it.
Bones.
Yeah. I mean, have you got issues? Are you all right? You've got a lot of anger.
I'm fine. Just pent up sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It's just
you need to get to the gym for a bit longer. Maybe get rid of that aggression.
That's why I go. But that's another story for another podcast. Maybe different podcast.
We have promoted quite a few podcasts tonight, actually, and we've done Laces Out with We've done a little bit around fitness and stuff like that. What else have
mental
we
health
got?
on anger issue podcast.
You know what? Actually, this is a really good way of doing this because I haven't done it already. So for Andy and the Cookie Cast, there is also the Darkest Timeline. There's a football one. I can't remember the name of that one. That's really bad. I'm sorry, Andy. I'm sure you'll get that in either the intro or the outro.
It's called the Football Podcast. They ain't got a name.
Oh!
Yeah. You got it right.
I knew exactly what it was. Just holding, folks.
Big fan.
I don't do football. I can't.
Do you have a YouTube account? You should get a YouTube account. You don't have to post any videos, but you could comment.
But then you've got to pay, or you can just.
You haven't got to pay. You haven't got to pay.
Oh, I thought you meant. Like
no, you can just sign up and then comment on different videos, subscribe, and.
Oh, I've got a YouTube account. Yeah, I thought you meant like the premium side, so you can like get rid of the adverts and stuff like that.
Oh no, I'm okay. I'm all right.
Yeah, just wait the 3 seconds and press skip ads. Done. But yeah, right. Let's quickly touch the race. So, believe it or not, Max Verstappen didn't win, and I actually have more evidence to show that he didn't win than a Dispatches documentary does.
And on that bombshell, that's the end of the podcast.
And this week, James has ended the podcast. Thanks ever so much, guys. Tony, well done. You didn't ruin it for us all.
Stand up late.
Still have it again.
Pissed a lot of people off.
On the race. So,
brought it all back.
Those of you that don't know, Max Verstappen didn't win. And what a giggle.
Finally.
Fucking loved it.
Just before we get on to that, I think Tony touched on it in the first half. Why did it go so wrong?
I just don't think they could be bothered. I think they knew they'd broke the record. They knew this wasn't a strong track. It was out in Q2. I think they just said it's not our race. I think it's just not our race this weekend.
Charlie said something interesting. And I think Brundle might have said it as well.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're going to say. Go on.
Once the FIA said that they're going to be investigating some irregularities with rear wings on a couple of cars, that all of a sudden the Red Bull car doesn't have the same kind of downforce that it has had for the rest of this season.
The other thing on top of that was the FIA released a new directive about flexible floors.
Oh, interesting.
So I think Brundle did touch on it. Christian Horner obviously probably lied through his teeth because he said, that hasn't affected us at all. But just before the weekend, there was an FIA, the clarity, they're cracking down on flexible floors. They're not saying any teams are doing it. However, I don't know if they're introducing a new test but they've put a ban on flexible floors. Literally, the next practice session after that directive was released, Red Bull have struggled all weekend. I mean, we know Christian Horner is as honest as they come. He would never lie in front of the camera. Ever. But you do start to wonder if because Singapore's a bit of a funny track. I mean, they changed it, didn't they? This is the reason why it was TBC when we looked last week.
Yep.
Because obviously the last few corners have changed.
The length of the track.
Yeah, they've built a building where it used to go under a tunnel. So now it doesn't go under a tunnel. But I couldn't work out where the tunnel used to be. It was weird.
It doesn't go around the marina anymore. It's just a straight road as well. Interesting.
But it'll be Japan is a very Red Bull track. It's a very, go on, Tony. What is the circuit?
It's a very prestigious circuit.
There we go. It's an old school, prestigious circuit, as Tony would say.
Suzuka.
If they struggle this weekend, you've got to ask questions.
Yeah,
has this flexible floor and the rear wing, has this impacted Red Bull like the previous years with Ferrari cheating with their engine and the fuel? Is this directive all of a sudden come out because Red Bull are really, really far in front. Why? Oh, they've got a flexible floor. Because do you remember, was it last year or the year before, at high speed, they used to say that the Red Bull, was it the rear wing or the front wing? Something went sucked down, didn't it? And they said that was giving them traction, and they looked into it. And then, no, it was the rear wing, because then the FIA did a rear wing weight test to see if it flexed.
Oh, I didn't know this.
So that was
Carry
a few
on.
years ago. And like I say, so they have built flexible stuff before.
So Adrian Newey is a clever man.
Yep.
Very clever.
Mm.
So, and I've said it on previous ones. I think we've all said it. There's something special on that car, and it's just going to take time for us to find out what it is that we could have found out. We could have found out.
I say, it's all on this weekend.
Yeah.
But look at how good the racing was. I touched on it at the start. Like, for me, this reminded me of when I used to watch F1 as a kid. Like, from start to finish, it's a story, and it's a drama, and it's non-stop. You don't know what's going to happen in the next lap. It's on a knife edge. You don't know what's going to happen in 10 laps time, because everything is changing all the time. And what an absolute crescendo at the end! You're on the edge of your seat, and the way Russell crashed, but it was like a film. I've said it. It was like a film. It was weird. I loved it. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw more of that Red Bull car this weekend than I did when he was leading.
I was going to say, because he actually had to do some work this weekend, he's earned a little bit of sponsorship again. Smack on there, Tony. Yeah. It's that whole kind of you don't know what's around the corner. I mean, Red Bull really didn't. I mean, they got everything. I think they was the only team, the only constructor out there who did a pit stop that wasn't in a safety car.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Yeah. But when you're in the middle of the pack, we've said it before, we've touched on it a lot of times with Lewis at the start of the season. When you're in the middle of the pack, you lose some of them advantages that you have been at the front. You've got to really play the field, and you get set new challenges.
Well,
go on, mate. That you don't necessarily have when you're at the front, when you can just drive into the distance as fast as you can.
Pull up a really good lead and then really go for it. But I mean, a pit stop with a safety car there is, I think the average time is 15 seconds lost. Without the safety car, I think it's around about 22, 23 seconds, which it doesn't sound like much, but when it comes to it's a massive difference. I mean, everyone after lap 21 won it. Yeah, lap 20 Sargent went off. Lap 21, you got the Ferrari double stack, the Mercedes double stack.
And it was really, how lucky or unlucky was Leclerc? Lewis literally held him in. They couldn't release Leclerc because Lewis was really conveniently just coming past. And just for them few seconds, and there was nothing he could do about it, that allowed Russell to get out and the other cars just to get ahead. And that's what happened.
There was a lot of tactical drive in this one. And I watched the highlights again today before we came on the podcast, and there was something said by Sainz on the radio that I didn't pick up on my race, but we'll get to that bit in a little bit. But yeah, I think McLaren did a double stack as well. I know Norris did. I know Norris went. But yeah, a couple laps later, and the commentators was even turning around and going, well, the issue now is, even though Max and that went out on hard so they could go a little bit longer, because everyone else went in on a pit on a safety car and stuff like that, for them to pit now, they will come out 18th.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, later on, Perez pitted and he came out 18th. I think Max pitted and he came out 15th, 16th or something. I think he came out 15th because Bottas pitted as well or something.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, I mean, obviously, let's go from the start anyway, like we should do, like good boys do on a Formula One podcast. So straight from the start, Ferrari do a fly at Russell. I don't know if his car was just a little bit slow or Russell's reaction was a little bit off or what. Hamilton goes off the track and overtakes Russell. My question here is, granted, he had to give the place back to Russell. Did he have to give it back to Norris, though?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Norris was trying it on. When it showed you the still of it, Lewis was miles in front of Norris. And Norris was like, oh, well, Lewis could brake later, and that's why he was in front of me. Bollocks. He braked later, full stop. And he
I was going to say, we say it every week. He's one of the last of the late breakers.
Yeah, so I get the Russell one.
Yeah. Give that was my thought. Give the Russell one. Now, don't get me wrong, at the time, when they gave Norris the spot back, I was sitting there going, you know what? Probably the right call. Give Norris the spot, get him back again, because that's better than taking a 5-second penalty. But
yeah,
obviously, after watching the rest of the race and everything, one of my mates who I work with, he watched it like Tuesday when he realised it hadn't been on yet, and he still hadn't seen the results, luckily. And he asked me, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, after seeing the whole race, that's a good point. It's that kind of, if he'd have took the 5-second penalty, knowing what we know now, he would have made those 5 seconds back and more anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's more hassle than it's worth, in my opinion. Surely, and somebody else's. Just give him it back. Just give him it back and get on with it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you could pretty much give it back at any point. I mean, if you're clever, you could have done what Magnussen used to do a couple of years ago, where he would give you it back just before he got to the DRS zone, because he'd know, hey, I'll give you it back. Oh, look at that! Oh, I'm within 1 second. DRS.
Well, they have overruled that now, haven't they? So that's why you can't do that. Which, yeah, I mean that was always very clever. But yeah, I mean they're all a bit like footballers at the minute on the radio, crying to the referee, making stuff up that isn't there, or basically them on the radio is the equivalent of diving. Like Norris, fuck off, mate. Perez, when he was on the radio later on in the race, fuck off.
Yeah, like, that's the one I remember. It happened like 3 laps ago, mate. What are you on about?
Yeah, but like Russell obviously had a moan, and rightly so. But let's be honest, your teammate's going to give you that position back. He's not going to be a dick about it, is he? So stop your whining, Woody. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, stupid.
Yeah, focus on the track that's in front of you, mate, not that wall.
Yeah. Wow, way.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, not long after the start, Tsunoda, he was the first one to retire. That was it, cleaned out, took out by Perez. Was it a puncture or what? But that was it.
Yeah.
He was gone.
Yep.
But even on the radio, he went going, oh, it's Perez. He went, it's just Perez. I mean, that comment there is just like, is that the kind of perception of Perez that people have now?
I think so.
And, a few times, he's aggressive. He moves around.
Yeah.
Becoming
whizzes out to defend. It's like, whoa.
Overly aggressive. I think because he did, again, going back to the Max first title season, that last race where Perez defended for Max and defended for his life, do you think since then he's bought into it that he's the Mr. Defender? And like I say, he's doing these aggressive sweeps across the track and everything just because of that race. Because he never used to do that before.
No.
I agree. I think he's built a reputation, hasn't he? So to the point where the whole purpose of it is, if you're behind him, you're going to think twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which adds another dimension to it. But yeah, it's gonna. Well, it happened, didn't it, Tsunoda? It could happen in worse terms in another race.
Yep.
You know what? Perez, I think, is the only driver where we go through every type of emotion there is towards him.
Yeah.
Like Max, it doesn't matter whether Max is winning or losing. We still sit there and look at him and go, "You're a dick." But Perez, you'll start off the season, he's doing well. It's like, he's looking good. He's doing really well. And then it starts looking like Red Bull might be doing something dodgy. Not that Red Bull ever do anything dodgy, because they don't do that, because they are very, very honest drivers, constructors.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden you're sitting there going, "Oh, Perez, you know what? Oh, he gets shat on all the time. Oh, I really feel for the guy." And then he gets all the way he is at the moment, and then we're like, "Yeah, he's a dick." we have literally gone. It's almost, you know what? It is like watching Star Wars from episode 1 through to 6. You watch and you're just watching Anakin going, "Oh, he's just a little boy. Oh, he's so cute." He's like, "Oh, but he's got mummy issues. Oh, but he's a little bit angry. Okay, he killed a couple of orphan kids, but it's a little bit dodgy. Oh no, he's Darth Vader." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, but he did love his son, and he came back to the light." You know what? It's just the fuck. It's like George Lucas has fucking written Sergio Perez.
It is a journey. As a fan, it must be a journey to follow him, to be his it must be hard.
I'm just really impressed with the whole kind of. I've just tied Sergio Perez into the pretty much into the Skywalker saga.
I like it. So basically, Sergio Perez is the Mexican Luke Skywalker. Is that what you're saying?
No, Sergio Perez is the Mexican Anakin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Will he ever win an F1 title?
No.
Nah.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. Not good.
Wow.
Not good enough.
That's the only one I can say with certainty.
What did you think to Ferrari's radio calls to Leclerc? Give Sainz a 3-second gap. Nah, you need to back off a bit more. Give him 5 seconds.
What about that? They was telling him to go. Oh no, that was Max. When it was saying, "No, go a bit faster," and then Austin's like, "Yeah, slow down, mate."
Yeah. Leclerc, there was you're too close. You're too close.
That's the theme of this race, isn't it? Manage the car, manage the tyres. And it's so hard to tell a racing driver to slow down when all you want to do is the opposite.
To do. See that car? Yeah, and you should drive that as fast as you can. Oh, okay. So they get in it. Can you slow down a bit?
Ferrari in the past, the team radio has been shocking. The plans have been shocking. He could say the same for this race, because what happened at the very end when Sainz was leading? They said the gap to Norris, and he said, "I know, I'm doing it on purpose."
That was the bit I was going to touch on.
Yeah.
So, do they have a clue? Do they have a clue what's going on? Is that why Sainz has had enough?
I don't think he has. I think Sainz is now showing he is a team leader.
More so than Leclerc.
But he's getting good results.
I've said for a while, I think he's the better driver.
He's proven it, and he's proven it.
But this week, right at the end, soon as I know, jumping a massive bit, as soon as he went, "My tyres are finished," I'm sat there. Then I was on the edge of my seat, because like, his tyres are finished. There are going to be 3 Brits on this podium now, because Norris is going to fly by him. He's going to drop back because his tyres are foobarred. And Russell and Hamilton are just going to they're not even going to have to make any effort. They can just drive along and just go, "Oh, there he goes." And that'll be it.
Yeah.
But he was just slowing down enough so Norris would get into DRS just to tag him along, because he knew, I can stay in front of Norris. I won't be able to stay in front of bloody Hamilton and Russell. If they get past Norris, I'm fucked.
And
so he was just doing enough just to keep Norris there as a buffer. And Norris even said it. He said, "We both helped each other out to get our results."
Yeah, because the Mercs struggled to get by Norris because the McLaren's so quick. It's the same engine. And they said they needed about a delta, a difference of speed of about a second and a bit. And obviously with a McLaren, they didn't have that. So like you say, that kind of showed to me that some of the things, like you say, we've said about Sainz on this podcast, he used his brain there. He was he was thinking about it, and he come up with a, like you say, Tony, Ferrari wouldn't have done that. He formulated a plan. How can I win this race? Right, I'll use Norris. I'll keep him in that second gap. I mean, Leclerc was absolutely no fight, was he? The Mercs just absolutely breezed by him.
As soon as it went, he was gone.
Yeah. So do you think that Ferrari are seeing a bit of a shift? Like Leclerc was the young Ferrari driver, who's the prodigy, he was the one that'll lead him after Vettel. Do you think they're looking at it thinking, I don't think he's the guy?
I think so, yeah. I think they're now looking at it and thinking, you know what, maybe Sainz has got something.
I think he just needs time. Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Leclerc needs time, and again we've said it on the podcast. I think Mark said it first. Leclerc's got a mistake in him.
Yeah, he's got a crash in him.
I think he's had time though. I think Leclerc's had a lot of time. He's not very good managing tyres. I know the Ferrari's not very good managing tyres because, like you said, Jim, his tyres were fucked. But his were worse because of the way the Mercs just breezed by him. Yet he wasn't pushing because he was told to keep a gap to Sainz earlier in the race. So again, is he driving it, overdriving it?
Was he just in a bad position from the get-go, and his hands were tied?
Maybe.
And then the pit stop made it worse. Again, his hands are tied because the whole track, all the drivers were just locked, weren't they? In this game of keep a distance but keep up with the pack. Wait for the time.
I mean, one thing we can say is the balls on Mercedes to pit them when no one else did. Because it looked the wrong decision when they dropped back to 4th and 5th. You thought, you idiots, like, what are you doing? Because Sainz looked comfortable, Norris looked comfortable, and then you saw the pace of them two Mercs out in the pits, and you thought, oh, they've nailed this. They've absolutely nailed it.
Tyres cleaner.
Yeah.
They got it right. They got it bang on. Saving them mediums. Them new mediums. They got it bang on. Yeah. And I've said it time and time again. That Merc with his light, limited fuel, good tyres at the end of the race, they light up. They light right up. They're in a good position, like they were this weekend. They can do some damage.
Yeah, that I think that was the Mercedes of not the car itself, but the strategist side of Mercedes.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah. Polished.
We've got the VSC
whole weekend from start to finish. Had a plan, executed it. It went to plan, and it nearly paid off.
Well, like you say, they were getting called in quali for saving them medium tyres.
Now, bitches.
Yep.
But that'll be another topic that we'll come to shortly. So, obviously, we've just touched on the VSC. So, quickly, right, so, before we get to that, when Alonso pitted, we all saw it, and I touched on it earlier on as well. He made a mistake. He crossed the pit line, resulting in a 5-second penalty because he locked up and he just went over and swerved back in.
Yep.
After, which lap was it?
Silly mistake.
So it was just before the Ocon bit. So lap 41, Max makes his pit. But he crossed that pit line in the same place as Alonso.
Did he?
His tyres locked up. He didn't come out as far as Alonso did, but he still crossed the line. I saw it straight away. I went, well, there's a fucking 5-second penalty. Nothing.
So do you think he got away with quite a bit because we had the stopping at the pit lane in quali, blocking Tsunoda, nothing was given, and then crossing the line? So that's 3 instances where they could have given Max a penalty and he got nothing.
Interesting. It didn't matter anyway because 2 laps later, Ocon's car just burnt out. We got the virtual safety car. Mercedes did that little double stack, came out in the mediums, and then you got that just absolute beauty of a finish with those last 10 laps. It was edge of your seat stuff. Genuinely sitting there going, they're going to do it in 2 more laps. They're going to be right on his ass, and then all they've got to do is get back. And they was doing it, but quickly because we haven't got much time left. Should they have swapped Hamilton and Russell sooner?
I'm going to say. I'll say yes because I believe Lewis was quicker, but in the situation that it was, Russell was never going to give, even if he was never going to give that up. Never.
It's that kind of, you know what? Hamilton was right on Russell's ass for the last 5 laps. If they would have, I know it's if and everything else, if they would have swapped him, likelihood is he would have took him and he would have been at least P2, I think.
I agree. Hindsight, though.
You couldn't do it on the last lap because it's like, you know what? It's the last lap. You're now saying to Russell, I've got to take that away from you. You can't, not on the last lap. But 5 laps before, maybe?
I think Hamilton was quicker, but I don't think he'd have got by Norris still.
Interesting.
They would have never swapped. Never in a million years. Russell would have never swapped.
No.
And we never know. But I have never seen a top 4. So I think it was 2 seconds between the 4 top drivers. And it was right up to the hill. And I mean, yeah, right to the very last second. So obviously Sainz won. You know, we've got a bit of smooth operator on the radio, which is always nice to hear. Russell, Leclerc,
quality. Absolutely quality.
And Hamilton in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
If you didn't smile to that.
So look, qualifying results, that's not quite right. That apologies, people. Like, I'm sure I saw him stood on the fucking podium. So that was it. Sainz, Norris, Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen, Gasly, Piastri, Perez, and a lot of other fucking drivers in the background.
He enjoyed that one, Sainz. Really did.
Yeah,
very good. And he should have his fucking tail up for this next race as well.
And he earned it as well. He earned it.
Yeah, he's mate, all fucking weekend he's earned that. He's owned that entire weekend. So, mate, well played. Absolute, yeah, fucking brilliant race. Absolutely. But on to the next one, which is this weekend, and that is, well, hopefully it's this weekend, depending on the weather. Japan. So we're running short on time, guys.
Yep.
What are our predictions? Now, host goes first.
Host goes first.
It's a tough one. I've gone for Sainz for the win. Because he's going to have his tail up. I've gone for Verstappen second because Red Bull's going to want a point to prove. After that, I was stumped between Russell, Hamilton, and Norris. Any of them 3 could get there. I've gone with Hamilton. So Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton.
Okay.
Do you want to go next? Charlie's? Do you want to give us Charlie's while you're on a roll?
So Charlie's on Sainz, Russell, and Hamilton.
Sainz, Russell, Hamilton. I mean, it's worth just saying after last week's predictions, only Beth got 1 point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So everyone's on the same points. Mark, you're on 40, Tony 42, I'm on 42. Kate is 9, Charlie's 12, and Beth is just romping it at 34.
Now on 35. Now on 35. Don't do her out of a point. She'll kill you.
No, that's the point, mate. 35, 34. She had 33 before.
Did she?
Yep.
I'm going to call it now. I'd like an independent review of the points system.
What the hell? Just because I'm better than you are.
That wasn't to you, but oh well. Okay. Anyway.
So I've got. Do you want me to go with Man and Katie's because we'll be waiting for Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then Tony's got 4 minutes to waste.
Well, then he'll copy one of mine or yours.
Yeah, give him a choice.
Max to win. Sainz second.
Oh, fuck off, Mark. Don't say No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Alonso.
I've got Norris third.
I've got Norris third.
Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!
So, Tony, I'm guessing you've got Max, Sainz, and Norris as well, right?
Yes, of course I have. Of course I have.
And that's weird because I had Max, Sainz, Hamilton, and changed it about 5 minutes ago. Wow.
Stick with it, Tony.
Great minds think alike. And I'm being completely. That's why I shouted out Norris then, because they're the three.
Yeah.
Oh. Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. I wish I'd have gone before you now. I wish I'd have gone before you.
We've got Katie's.
Hamilton, Alonso, Sainz.
Beth? There's no reply from Beth yet.
Just looking at my book, James, Beth was on 34, so with the Hamilton point, she's on 35.
Ooh, did I in that? You know what? Sod it. I mean, she's romping it anyway. Even if I've got it wrong, then
I don't want her to be on 35. I want her to be on 5. But just because I fear Beth, I feel if we take a point off her, she will murder people.
Right. I mean, we still haven't found that Domino's delivery guy, so let's go with the 35. Hi, Beth.
He's missing somewhere in a hedge.
Got anything?
But at least we got the wedges, guys. That's all that matters.
Did we?
We did.
You get
we did.
Free garlic bread, though.
No, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't get the free garlic bread. You know why?
Hang on.
Because it's fucking buried somewhere in a bush with the moped and the pizza delivery guy.
No fucking garlic and herb dip. The fuck is this?
If you see a Domino's moped in a bush between Beverley and Sigglesthorne, please phone this number.
I've heard you've got half of the Uber Eats delivery guys in your utility room just tied up to the boiler.
No, we haven't.
Has she got them yet?
Has she got them yet?
No, I'm still waiting.
Quickly run down. Quickly run down and go tell her, or go in the next room.
No, she can hear us. She's in the room next door. She's heard the whole podcast.
Beth, you've got 1 minute 55.
She's
or Tony will talk to you like a twat.
Slagging her off.
Ask the delivery guy. Just remove the gag.
She's holding back her guesses because she's upset with Mark. Now I've been dragged in. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
That's not what she said, but never mind.
Anyway, we'll wait for a guess. Oh wait, I've got him.
Oh shit! The bed. You've got 1 minute and 15.
Max to win. The smooth operator himself is second. And she's gone for George Russell in third.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
And on that one, with 53 seconds to spare, that was episode 19. So, as always, massive thanks to Mark, to T-Dog, myself, all of us bringing the sexiness, some of us bringing the beards. I do like that little kind of go fast stripe you got in the middle. As always, big up to Andy and Cookie Cast. Share the love. Tell everybody else to sit there, put us on in the car when they're making that daily commute to work. Listen to us, put up with us. I mean, we've got to put up with Tony, but get us out there, guys.
Enjoy your holiday, Mark.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, enjoy that, mate. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Are you gonna join us, or are you just gonna?
With a time difference on the West Coast, probably won't get a chance.
Yeah. Right.
What a shit house. Bye.
Toodles.
So there you go, what do you think to that? Another one done, another race gone, another race to come. All races, all the time. Big thank you to the guys for doing the podcast. Big thank you to you for watching and or listening. Big thanks all round. One thing before you go, If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, like the podcast, share it around, leave a review, check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There are the social media links and an email button. That way you can get in touch with these guys. You can get in touch with anybody on any of the podcasts. Simple as that. That's it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode of CookieCast, please like, share and subscribe.